What is going down, my YouTube family? It is your boy Zeri from the XMG, and we are here finally to discuss Thanessa in her noob series. And I've play tested this character quite a bit in different game modes and things like that. So I'm pretty excited to talk to you a little bit about Thanessa For Noobs. And let's get into it. Alright, so we're going to start like we always do, and we're going to break down her stats. Okay? Thanessa, these placements are before Arno and Radash were put into the game. So there's two more characters that were added after Thanessa, so keep that in mind. Speed, she comes in at 37th in the game at a 135. Okay? Typical range for healers. Really not crazy. Health, 18th in the game, 23,319. Shield, 22nd in the game, 26,563, bringing her health and shield combination to 21st in the game, 49,882. Now, survivability, not bad for a healer. It's above average, better than middle of the pack. So, Thanessa, having some survivability there. Magic damage, 25th in the game, 2,489.02. Physical armor, 23rd in the game at 32.53. Magic armor, 15th in the game, 36.91. And that is pretty nice. Because when you take a look at a lot of, your AoEs, how they're going to get around your tank, a lot of it's magic damage. So having higher magic armor I found to be a little more beneficial. So that is pretty nice. Critical chance, 27th in the game, 25.27. Okay. I mean, she's a healer. You can crit on your heals. But it's nothing we're going to really look for. Potency, 12th in the game with 40. Tenacity, she is tied for 10th in the game with 30. So 30 is pretty much like 32 range is the benchmark for tenacity in this game. So she's pretty much dead center of the pack. Even though this says tied for 10th, the list is like 12 people at 2. You know what I mean? So pretty much middle of the pack for tenacity. Okay, stat takeaways. Health and shield combo like I talked about. Survivability on a healer is a plus. So that is huge. Potency. We're going to have to see if that plays into our move kit. But 40 potency to start is great. Speed. It's the same thing with healers. We want them to go as often as you possibly can to get the speed, to get those heals out from their speed, and starting at 130 range, typical of a healer, but still really low. Magic damage. Now, her magic damage is above middle of the pack, and we'll have to see if that plays into her move kit. Most healing is done off of magic damage or the other person's HP. So we're hoping this is going to be magic damage. All right, so we're going to come over here and we are going to break down her kit. And we looked at her stats. So first ability, Poison Veil, deals 200% of magic damage to an enemy. Poisons the target for 2 turns. So we're seeing that potency tenacity check. We only need one of them. Poison. Poison doesn't have a lot of synergy with the Goblin faction. There's really no synergy with the Goblin faction. But it is a debuff. Debuffs can be put on a basic ability with the assists. So she's giving us more than just damage. Poison's kind of that dot damage over time. Okay. I was really hoping that'd be like a burn to get more synergy with Amara. But poison, at least it's something more on her basic, but we're seeing potency and magic damage. Second ability, Healing Jar. Heals the target for 900% of Thanessa's magic damage, and then applies debuff immunity for 2 turns. That is huge. Now, when I was playing around with this, sometimes I would put this healing immunity on my second turn on the tank, just so they can't stack the debuffs against that tank. Because her healing ability is 3 turns. 3-turn cooldown. So you can get her up relatively fast. And when I go to like my thoughts and breakdown of this character, we'll get into it more. But the debuff immunity is huge. 900% of Thanesa's magic damage. So again, we're seeing the magic damage, and that's going to be crucial if you want her to heal a lot. We got to get that magic damage up there. But the debuff immunity, that is a beautiful thing to have. Third ability, Assistant. Deals 300% of magic damage to an enemy, and then calls 3 random allies to assist. This is cool. You know, under the General Murdoch lead, if you choose to go that route, and again, we'll talk a little bit more about that. But what's really neat here is you're just calling more and more people into assist. If you call Dr. Frank into assist and they have shock, he's calling in 2 more people. You can really, I had a chain of like 10 assists. Yes, the damage decreases on an assist, I understand that, but it is still super cool to see. And more assists under the General Murdoch lead is nice. And, you know, the other option we'll get to in a little bit, assists aren't as prevalent. Passive ability, Goblinology, increases magic damage by 10% for each living goblin in the party. If Amara is on the battlefield, she receives the same buff. So we're seeing synergy with Amara. Right? That's why I was hoping that poison would be a burn, because that'd be kind of cool. But we're seeing her heal, and all of her moves are off of magic damage. You're getting 10% for each living goblin in the party, so 50% more magic damage. Now, you take her magic damage of, what was it, 2639, I think? 2649, something like that. 50% more of that, pushing her well above that 3,000 mark. So that is neat. But we still want to get damage on this character. So we looked at her move kit, right? Her cooldowns are relatively low, which is a pretty cool thing when you think about it, but we still need to make her fast. We need to make her fast if we're relying on her to be the healer, right? Then we have magic damage. We're going to need magic damage on this character. Potency. Potency is going to be big if you want the poisons to stick. Or you could go survivability, okay? So, obviously she's your healer. We want to keep her alive as long as possible. The potency, again, is only in there if you want those poisons to stick. Debuff immunity, that is a buff applied. That has nothing to do with potency whatsoever. So we just make them fast. We want her to have magic damage. Potency, if you're looking for those poisons to stick. Survivability. So that brings us to runes. And we have a conundrum with this character. Do you want her to go fast and often, or do you want her to heal for maximum potential? So for the force set, I would say damage or speed. I prefer the speed because with the low base speed of the 130s, you put on the speed set, you're getting 13 more, right? And then you just speed. I can get her to like 1 or 211, 220 range, depending on runes. Damage, I got her up to like 170, 180, and it just seemed forever for her to go. For the 2 set, if you want those poisons to stick because of the assist trains, like if you're using her under a General Murdoch lead, strongly recommend potency. Or I would go health. You could go armor, anything survivability, but a lot of people have health runes, and she is healing. So if you heal yourself, or, you know, things like that, but it depends. Do you want those potencies to stick? If you do, or the poisons to stick off potency, go potency. If you don't care about the poisons and you want her just to be more survivable, go health. I did mess around with critical chance runes, and her crit chance is really low, and I really didn't see a lot of benefit from her crit and healing. I definitely found more benefit for potency or the health for the survivability. So that is an option too, but I don't really care for that. In the rune secondaries, okay? We want damage. You want damage in every single rune you can possibly get it in, okay? Because her healing And all of her moves are based off her magic damage. And we want that to be as high as we can, so that passive ability is going to take it even higher. Speed. You want her to go fast. With the low base speed we've talked about of 130, you want her to be as high as you possibly can. Survivability. Keep her alive. She does you no good if she's not on the damage or on the battlefield. Then, if you want those poisons to stick, sprinkle in some potency. But she does have 40 to start, and if you go the potency set, you're going to have like a 50-50 shot, essentially, of getting the potencies to stick, or the poisons. I keep doing that. Man. The poisons to stick. So, if you get it, great. If not, okay. So, my main things for her are damage, speed, and survivability. Now, if you're building like a poison team, a team based off of poisons, which can get insanity, you want to go potency. But for the overall general purpose of this character, you're looking for damage, speed, and survivability. Okay, so we talked about runes. I found I like the speed with the potency because I want those poisons to stick. Yes, there's no synergy, but the general under a general Murdoch lead with all the assists getting called in, I want to do more than just damage on the basic because your damage is decreased as you're called in. So I want something else to happen, right? So I went with speed and potency. Okay, so we're going to go over the runes here quickly. In the northern rune, obviously we have the damage primary. I got potency, shield, armor, and then speed. Obviously, I went for the speed in the northeastern rune, but I got damage hit 3 times, so a 0.77% increase. Shield, little potency, and some health. Hitting all of my things in that one rune is awesome. Armor, we have no choice in the southeastern rune. Crit chance, potency, got some speed, and I got 40 flat damage. Wish that was a percentage, but it is what it is. I went for the damage primary in the southern rune. I tried crit chance, I've tried health and shield, and I found damage to make sure that healing pops. I found damage. Potency, speed, I also got an 11 speed roll on this rune, so I went with that and some armor. Now, when it comes to the southwestern rune, and you hear me say this a lot, shield and health for this character doesn't make a difference. More shield means they got to get down lower, but if you're using this with a Dr. Frank or even an Arno at this point, your shield regeneration is going to be there, and you can over heal yourself on that shield. So you're really just looking for the best secondary stats possible, and I got a 0.53% damage increase, got a little potency in there, got some health, and then 5 speed, so I just went with the shield. So for me, when it comes to that, really just whatever gives you the best secondary stats. The northwestern rune, I went with damage. Now, I talked a little bit about a poison team, and if you're building a poison team, you want this to be potency, because you want those poisons to land every single time she does her basic. But for general purposes, I found damage to make sure that healing is better and the damage dealt from her, because she actually does pretty decent damage for a healer. So I went with damage. I got some health, some shield, some armor, and speed. So for her stats, what that looked like, we brought up her magic damage 348 to 2987. Just missed out on that 3000 mark. But don't forget about her passive. For each goblin in the party, we're getting 10% more magic damage. So let's say we're putting another 1400 magic damage on her just from her passive. That's big. Critical chance, we only brought up 1%. I wasn't worried about it. So we're at a 1 in 4 chance of getting a crit. Fine. Health, we brought up 546 to 30,215. Now remember, this is after the Gear 11 Plus stuff. So, and I don't have her Gear 12, but just Gear 11 Plus. Magic Armor, 42.75%. Physical Armor, 36.95%. Shield, I brought up 4,800 to, 31,000 451, so she's pretty survivable. Speed, 76. Got her speed up to 211. I'm happy with that. Potency, 21.26 or 21.6%, so we're 66.6%. Sign of the devil, whatever. But, so there's the increases off the runes. Now, like I said, the stats are going to be a little different because of the Gear 11 Plus pieces on there. But yeah, you can do some things with the runes. You can get her speed over the 200 mark. Like I said, 211. The highest I was able to get her with different rune combinations was right around 220. And all in all, not too shabby. All right, so when we're looking for artifacts, she doesn't have a particular artifact made for her. So what we're looking for is, just like we were in our runes, what really could benefit her, right? Damage, survivability, potency, speed. There isn't anything in artifacts for, and I'm grateful for that. So I'm starting off with an honorable mention. The first one in the honorable mention is Caustic Broth made for Venomate. Okay? It is uncommon. It is a damage increase of 6%, which is right around 149 damage for her. Health, 9% completely maxed, and that gives her right around like another 2,090 health. So pretty good bumps to both for an uncommon artifact. Dealing damage to a single enemy, which is all she does. She's going to be assisting a lot. Has a 15% chance to give invisibility for one turn. Can only happen once. So, in the grand scheme of things, not terrible. You know, having her go invisible if your taunt's down could help you. She could get it on the first turn for all we know. She couldn't get it at all. But the damage increase is 6%, another 149 damage. Pretty damn good. And then the health at 9%. So my honorable mention there is Caustic Broth. So my third choice. My third choice is we go 3, 2, and then my best choice. Third choice for me here is the Cursed Doll. Made for Mortha. Right? Not too bad for this, right? When you take a look at it. Cursed Doll, damage of 4%. That gives us right around an extra 100 magic damage. Shield, 6%, gives us that survivability we're looking for. That's going to put us at right around like 1590-ish extra shield. And then the start of the turn increases damage by 1%, twice per battle. So off of her regular damage, we're looking at right around 249 damage. And then she's going to get it twice. So the second time it comes around, so that is another total of right around 500 more. I think it's like 498-ish magic damage. Fits everything we're looking for. She gets a damage bump to begin with. She's giving herself about 500 more magic damage. Not too bad. I like the Cursed Doll as my third choice for Thanessa. My number 2 choice is an epic, the Rose of Hope. Damage 6%. That's going to put us like right around 150 magic damage. 149 and some change. Not bad. Shield, 9%. Okay, we're looking at 9% shield. That is 2,300 more shield, so we're getting some survivability. But then it restores 9% of received healing to shield. Pretty nifty. Put her with a Dr. Frank. He's giving her shield. If she heals herself, she'll get some shield back. Overall, increasing her survivability. And 9% to her base shield is that 2390, 2400 range. So, pretty damn good. I think that one could be used for pretty much any goblin, to be completely honest with you. But I really like that Rose of Hope if you're struggling to keep her alive. So my best choice, I really like this one. It makes a lot of sense, is Dragonite. Made for Shadar, epic. Flat damage of 180. Well, and I've learned over time, because of a viewer pointed out to me, sometimes flat stats are better than percentages. 180. 180 flat damage isn't that bad. 9% health. So 9% health is right around 2,100 back to her health. Pretty damn good. But what I really like here is at the start of battle has a 15% chance to restore 1 turn for all abilities, right? So at the start of the battle, and I like this because when I get into what I think she's really, really good at, it's going to make a lot of sense. But the start of the battle, you could heal right off the bat, which means you could put that debuff immunity right to your tank, and then you only have 3 turns to heal. I mean, it lets you do her, or you could call in before the other tank gets their taunt up, you could call in that assist of 3 random enemies right off the bat. So, pretty dang cool. I like that, but the 180 flat damage with the health, pretty nice. So here we are, Thanessa for Noobs, complete and in the book. I rank characters trash, common, uncommon, rare, epic, legendary, I think it is. No, I can't remember. She's a rare character for me. She has some cool things about her. But you need like a certain team to do it. And the goblins are actually splitting up into 2 different teams, in my opinion. Right? You have like a General Murdoch-led team with Dr. Frank, Instructor Goram, Adam, and why am I drawing a blank? Dr. Frank, Major Shot? No. Well, yeah, and Major Shot, but we're going to pull Major Shot off that team, and you're going to substitute in another goblin, right? Old Lore, maybe. Then you have a second team under a Major Shot lead, which Arno, Thanessa, Amara, Sergeant Pigwald. Kind of more like a nuker team. When I played her with the General Murdoch team, calling in the extra assists is pretty nice. But when it comes to arena, she's not going to make a difference. And under the General Murdoch team, her extra assists are awesome, but you're losing out on the synergy from Amara, right? She seems kind of like overkill, right? Now, I will tell you one thing. Her place and where she shines for me is the tower. Goblins are still the best team in tower, in my opinion. What team I was blowing through hard tower mode with was a Murdoch lead, Arno, Thanessa, Dr. Frank, and Amara. I had the Amara. She's a crazy AoE damage. The over shielding from Frank and Arno was crazy. And then if somebody did get low, I'd pop it off. But most of the time I was using her debuff immunity on Arno and just letting him soak up the damage. Dr. Frank's constantly over healing on the shields. It was just a really good team. And that's to me where she shines. PvP, nah. I think she would make a good like offensive team for Battlegrounds. Right? Take out that Major Shot team, but when it comes to PvP content, I'm just not feeling her as well. And I think she has better synergy with Arno. And because you take out Instructor Goram from Adam, and Adam isn't nearly as viable, in my opinion. So you want to keep those 2 together. And to me, she doesn't fit well on that team because you take out the Major Shot you're using now, right? And you don't put in, and you put her in, you're losing the blind, you're losing some AoE damage, and fights just last longer, and you don't get as far. So, all in all, she's a rare character. Higher end rare, but she's worth the investment if you want to run a double goblin team, and if you're struggling with a hard tower mode, she is where it's at. Now, there is a poison team you can put together with some Venomate, even Vorian the Trickster, with a just tankier than tanky tank, and that is a lot of fun, but it takes a while to ramp up, and I have to do some testing with that on raids. I have not got to that yet. But there is Thanessa for Noobs, and if you're just finding me for the first time, consider hitting that subscribe button. Let's grow this channel here. And for all my XMG family members out there, you know I love you. So here's Thanessa For Noobs. Sorry it's so late. I love y'all. See you in the next one. I'm out.